EMA. So vwap basically just, it records, let me see. It records it really tells you when prices, when prices are above, you want to look for sales, and prices below, you want to look for only buys. It's as simple as that, right? You want to look for only buys, but the actual vwap is actually more. It has more information than that. But then that is where this EMA comes in, right? So this EMA can also work like that. Now you can see prices above. You can see that price of selling price. Let's use the 1 hour time frame. Right, price above these three lines here. See this purple, this yellow, these three main line here. So like the main ones here. So you can see one price is above it, sells, which is below it, buys. So if your entry, right, let's assume you actually have a sell entry here that also aligns with your TPU. Totally to sell, but then it is not above these three lines, these three major lines here, this purple, this 3 EMA here. If it's not above it, then that means your sell might actually not hold, right? If it is below it, then you should be looking for buys. If it's above it, only sells. You can see above sells, below buys, above sells, below buys, just like that. And if you check other pairs too, the same thing. Right, below you should be looking for only buys, above you're looking for only sells, below only buys, above only sells, below only buys, above only sells. So you can even use this particular system to even scalp. This system alone, you can use it to scalp, like do a lot of scalps, right? If you master it well, if you know what you're doing, basically you can use this system I want to call it my own vwap, even though it's not a vwap, but I want to call it vwap. You can use it to just, for scalps only. It's possible to use it for only scalps, right? So that is that about it, basically. So I will share the settings in the group, right? There's a new channel for the help channel, right? I'll share settings there. Even the TPU settings there will also be there, and everything everything you need will be there. Then footprint. Now I believe by now everyone would be verified. I mean, have the premium trading view now by now. Right, so we're going to move on with footprints. Tomorrow is Friday. Don't worry, I'm free. Well, we should discuss footprint right now. But please take note, I'm not recording, and I will not record. But I will always be here to, explain. So I want to be sure that we have at least, we have over 300 people here. So should I proceed with footprints now? But if I teach footprint this night, we must. Please, you guys must. We must help me with this my FX book, so I'll be able to share the link. Deal. Oh yeah, deal. Oh yeah, now let's move on. So we'll talk about footprints because you guys will not get it once. It's not possible for you guys to get it once, so we'll get to talk about it over and over. So moving on, I took a trade today on CAD CHF. Right, but you would see that this is my POI, right? Now using TPO, number one thing, of course, is to look for my setup first, then where it's coming from, right? But then with the TPO, what do I look for at the value area low, please? At the value area low, what do I look for? Buys. So you can see my basic TA setup, right, also aligns with my TPU, which tells me to buy, right? It aligns with my TPU, correct. Now, if you use the vwap as well, let's just call it vwap. Let's see. Now, what happens, or what should I look for below these three lines here? Buys, exactly. So it also aligns with everything. So everything just aligns, making it a complete setup, a very good setup. But that doesn't mean we'll just jump on a trade like that. That is where TPO, and that's where footprint comes in, right? So now I have this POI here waiting, but I wouldn't just jump on it, right? That is where footprint comes in. So the footprint market or the footprint chart is basically used for confirmations. Right, now you can see that these are candles. This is actually a candlestick, right? These are candlesticks, and you don't know what is going on inside within these candlesticks. Now we are blind. We are literally just changing a pattern. Let's assume it's just a pattern. So we don't know if for real this guy is actually going to hold. That is where footprint comes in. It tells us, it shows us the index of each candlestick. Each candlestick, it shows us the buyers and the sellers within one candlestick. Please pay attention. Within one candlestick, it shows us the buyers and the sellers, right? To the right here, we have the ask. Or we call it, which we can also use as a buy or positive for anyone. But just as the ask. Then to the left, what's up with this guy? To the right, we have the ask. And to the left, we have the bid. Right. To the left, we have the bid. To the right, we have the ask. Right. So this space is always positive and this space is always negative. Right. So when you have more ask, that means the bulls are in control, right? Then if you have more bid, that means the BS are in control or sellers are in control. This one simply means buyers. This one simply means sellers. So each candlestick, the footprint helps us to see index of each candlestick. Someone says come again. Okay. This is a candlestick right now. Right? So we inside this candlestick right now, one of these candlestick, the footprint, you cannot see anything right now, right? But the footprint, when we actually switch over to footprint now, it will now show us the buyers and the sellers, right? Then within the buyers and the sellers, you see delta in the form of numbers. In the form of numbers, so you're able to see who is winning, like the overall number. I mean, it's usually basic maths, yeah. 9 plus 9, 2 plus 2. But now if we have, let's assume we have 40 at the ask. 40 at the ask, and it's usually blue. 40 at the ask, and we have 90 at the bid. 90 minus 40, please. Obviously 50. Right. So 50. So it will now be red. It will be red because this guy is more than 40. Right? This guy here is more than 40. So that means that the sellers are in control. We have more sellers on this candlestick. That simply means we have more sellers on this candlestick. More sellers on this candlestick. It is that simple, please. That means we have more sellers on this candlestick. Now, if it comes like this now, that means there are buyers in the market and you want to follow who is in control. Please, if you have more buyers in the market, who do you follow? Sellers. Please, we are interacting because I want to be sure that we all understand this thing. So you just this buy limit or sell limit. No, we wait for price to tap into it so we can follow who is in control, and that's where the footprint comes in. Now I can now go to a lower time frame. Let's say 5 minutes or 4 minutes or 3 minutes or whatnot, or anyone that works for me. But let's choose 5 minutes in this case. Now let's choose 5 minutes. So now I go to my footprint chart. Oops. So now, please pay attention. The footprint chart, this is how you use it. You should actually have this written down. There are two things you want to see after price taps into your POI. There are two things that you want to see. Pay attention. Number one, the aggressiveness. So let's say price, okay, now this is a buy setup, right? This is a buy POI. right? You know that price will sell into this zone before you now look for buys, right? You can see red here. You can see red, green, bid and ask, bid and ask. But at the end of it, you are seeing more red, more red. That means sellers are in control, right? That means sellers are in control. But then, before you tap a buy or sell, now you have a POI, a buy POI. What is the first thing you want to look out for? You want to look out for the aggressiveness. How did price come into your POI? You want to say that there are lots of sellers coming into your POI aggressively. Please pay attention. You want to say that a lot of sellers coming into your POI aggressively. Because this POI, you expect it to what? Absorb these sellers. Because this is a buy POI. That means you have passive buyers waiting there. Because that means you have passive buyers waiting there, right? Waiting to absorb the sellers, the aggressive sellers. You can see how the sellers are actually coming in. You can see they were aggressive, coming in. All sells. So you have passive sellers here, waiting to absorb them. Don't catch you. The next thing you start seeing is buyers being aggressive. So that means the sellers are now trapped. Then the buyers now start coming in. That is where you now take your trade. Now, you will not just take a trade because you see buyers coming in. You want to see at least 2 candlesticks, right, with a positive delta. You can see everything you have here is actually negative delta, right? That is the bid or the sellers are winning. But you want to see at least 2 candlesticks that are positive. That means 2 buyers. Before you can now decide that, okay, it is time to buy now. Now let's see. This guy will not work without, this replay to, this guy will not work with the replay to. So let me show you guys how it works. Please, I hope I'm actually getting this, please. Are we getting this? Don't worry. I know you cannot get it once. I'm still going to explain it. This is just like the beginning. But I believe at least I'm not wasting my time. Right. So you can see after price tapped into our POI, there is no reason to buy yet. Because everything we could see is sellers. Now we saw buyers here. But remember what I said about it being at least 2 buyers in the market first. You can see all the data actually negative until here, where we saw this positive delta. But it is not enough to reason to just jump on the buy. Right? So that means if you are jump on the buy, look at what would have happened. But you want to wait to see at least two positive data first before you now say, okay, now the buyers are not interested. Right now, the buyers are only still trying to absorb these sellers first. But you can see sellers are still in control, pretty much still in control until here. Now you now see the buyers coming in aggressively now. Now, after this 1, 2, the third one is now your entry. Boom. However, I use a 3 minutes time frame. So I was able to get in early. Right? But regardless, you now cover this low. And that is your confirmation entry. The time frames depends on the POI. So if you got your POI from the 4-hour time frame, you want to do well to go to like at least 15 minutes for your footprint confirmation. Now you see, we're able to do 1 to 3. However, I got in aggressively because I use the 3 minutes, footprint. So let's go to 3 minutes time frame. Yes, the third candle, not the second. You must see that the bid for buys, you must see that it has printed at least 2. After the aggressiveness, at least 2 positive candles first before you follow them. Because if you get in too early, you're on your own. OT law. Your money is gone. So, you see, footprint takes a lot of time to actually perfect. Now, you might think you understand it until you start taking stupid losses, right? Because some of you want to be aggressive. Now, you can see on the 3 minutes time frame, I could see 1, 2. But the reason why I wouldn't want to enter this is this. You can see this delta is the same thing as this delta as well. So there is no really big numbers here. We didn't really have a big number here. That's why, as I saw this 54, which is bigger than this 17 and 16, then I entered. And I covered this low here. But most times, you might miss out on trades, and majority of the time, you won't. So this was my own entry today. Do you get? And when you tell people these things, a lot of them are not really they don't really care and all of that, but you guys actually care. You can see the difference now between how you were trading months ago and how you'll be trading in the coming year. Do you get? And how you'll be trading in the coming year. So, So, that'll be all for tonight. My mouth is paining me. This thing right